Hello, children. Welcome to another radio learning program for P4 Science. As you know, this is one of the radio programs produced by Rwanda Education Board in partnership with Inspire, Educate and Empower Rwanda, IEE. My name is Teacher Gerard, and I will be teaching Primary 4 Science. Children, as always, get your pens and notebooks ready for taking notes, doing any given exercise, and homework if it will be there. After getting the writing materials ready, may you sit next to the radio, which you will tune loud enough and be ready to listen to it keenly as you are doing radio lesson activities. Dear parents and guardians, I would like to continue reminding you to be close to the children and follow up what they are doing and support them where necessary. Thank you. Now, children, I want us to stand up to have a warm-up song before we start learning. This is a song that is going to make you think of our body parts, and especially it is related to the topic that we are going to learn. I will sing the song once as you listen. Then you will join me to sing for the third time, the second time, and the third time. Is that all right? Good. Now, I want you to pay attention as I am going to sing. God thought of making man by joining all the bones, thinking of the greatest love God had for me. Joining the head bone to the neck bone, joining the neck bone to the shoulder bone, joining the shoulder bone to the backbone, joining the backbone to the hip bone, joining the hip bone to the thigh bone, joining the thigh bone to the leg bone. Oh, God's greatest love, God thought of me. Have you heard that? Wow, it is going in a very good rhythm. So, I'm repeating. God thought of making man by joining all the bones, thinking of the greatest love God had for me. Joining the head bone to the neck bone, joining the neck bone to the shoulder bone, joining the shoulder bone to the backbone, joining the backbone to the hip bone, joining the hip bone to the thigh bone, joining the thigh bone to the leg bone. Oh, God's greatest love, God thought of me. Wow. Children, it is about joining the bones. God joined the bones, and then I became to be. So I want you to join me in singing. Good. Are you ready? Wow. Okay, let's go. God thought of making man by joining all the bones, thinking of the greatest love God had for me. Joining the head bone to the neck bone, joining the neck bone to the shoulder bone, joining the shoulder bone to the backbone, joining the backbone to the hip bone, joining the hip bone to the thigh bone, joining the thigh bone to the leg bone. Oh, God's greatest love, God thought of me. Wow, wow. Can we repeat? Great. God thought of making man by joining all the bones, thinking of the greatest love God had for me. Joining the head bone to the neck bone, joining the neck bone to the shoulder bone, joining the shoulder bone to the backbone, joining the backbone to the hip bone, joining the hip bone to the thigh bone, joining the thigh bone to the leg bone. Oh, God's greatest love, God thought of me. Wow. Wow. Now, children, that is very, very good. I really like that. Now, can you remember what we did last time? Can you remember what we did last time? Perfect. Last time we did revision exercise. Good. My friends, today and onwards, we will learn about the human skeleton. The human skeleton. Write that down on a clean page. The human skeleton. Good. And we will start by main parts and major bones of the skeleton. Write that one also down. Main parts and major bones of the skeleton. Good. Now, children, when you hear the word skeleton, what comes into your mind? Good. When we hear skeleton, we start thinking of bones. That is the reason why our song was also about the bones. We saw the bones from the head up to the leg. So when we hear the word skeleton, we start thinking of bones. Children, what would you look like if you had no skeleton? Would you be able to stand up? Would you be able to walk? What supports your body? I repeat these three questions. Question 1. What would you be like? Would you be able to stand up? Would you be able to walk? What supports your body? Perfect. Now, all these cannot happen when there are no bones. All those in the question cannot happen when there are no bones. Is that clear? Great. Skeleton supports our body to stand upright and to have shape. Write that. Skeleton supports our body to stand upright and to have shape. It is made up of bones. The skeleton is made up of bones. Without skeleton, we would not be able to stand up. Skeleton gives shape and support to our body. A skeleton comprises, that means it includes, a skeleton comprises the skull, S-K-U-L-L, skull. A skeleton comprises the skull, the arms, and legs. Each of the major parts consists of some small bones. We are going to start by discussing major bones of skull. Write that down. Major bones of the skull. Now, I want you to press the top of your forehead. Press your own top head. Do you feel that it is hard or soft? Yes, it is hard. What do you think makes your forehead harder? Great. Great. What makes the forehead harder is the bone. Inside our head, there is a bony framework that encloses the brain. It is called skull. So at the forehead, we have the skull cap. The skull cap. The skull cap is the hardest bone in the body. All the bones in the skull are fixed. The major bones of the skull are, number 1. Can you write? Cranium. C-R-A-N-I-U-M. Cranium. Cranium is the covering that protects and supports the brain. It consists of other 8 bones, which we will see later. The second bone of the skull is facial bones. Facial bones, from the word face, F-A-C-I-A-L, facial bones. There are 14 facial bones in the face and the jaws. Do you get that? The only movable bone in the jaw is the lower jaw. The lower jaw. Now, look at the textbook on page 259. You will see the bones of the skull, my friend. You can see the cranium and then the other bones. We have the skull cap, we have the nose bone, we have the cheekbone, the upper jaw, the facial bones, and the lower jaw. Now, from the skull, let us see the major bones of the trunk. Our bone category number 2, the trunk bones. Trunk is T-R-U-N-K, trunk. Major bones of trunk. Now again, look at the picture on page 259 about the bones of the trunk and identify the major bones of trunk from the given options and write them in your notebook. Number 1, the ribs. Can you see the ribs? The spine. Then we have the pelvis. We have the ribs, the spine, and the pelvis. Spine is written as S-P-I-N-E. Spine. Pelvis, P-E-L-V-I-S. The pelvis. Now, the part of the body to which the head and the limbs are attached is called the trunk. Do you get that? And the major bones of the trunk are the backbone or the spine. Now, the backbone is made up of 33 ring-like bones called vertebrae. Vertebrae. V-E-R-T-E-B-R-A-E. The vertebrae or vertebrae. These 33 bones form a column called the spine. Now, the spine encloses and protects the spinal cord. There is something inside the spine called the spinal cord, and it is the one that helps us and supports the head, neck, and body for upright posture. Let us go to the ribs. Ribs are covered bones. They are curved bones. Curved. That means they are not straight. They are curved. Ribs are curved bones. They are attached to the backbone at the back and breastbone at the front. The backbone, your backbone at the back, and the breastbone. Look at your chest. There is some bone there. That is the breastbone. So the breastbone is at the front and the backbone at the back. All these ribs together, they form a cage-like structure called the rib cage. Rib cage. R-I-B-C-A-G-E. Rib cage. Now, the rib cage protects our heart and lungs. There are 12 pairs of ribs in this case. In the rib cage, we have 12 pairs. 12 pairs. That means when you count the number of ribs, you will find that on one side of the trunk, we have 12. On the other side also, we have 12. Do you understand? Wonderful. Now, let us see the pelvis. The pelvis, it is the lower part of the trunk. It supports the abdomen. It also protects the digestive organs. The lower part of the trunk is the pelvis. It supports the abdomen. It also protects the digestive organs. The legs and backbone are attached to the pelvis. Do you understand? Wow. Let us now see category number 3, that is major bones of legs and arms. The major bones of legs and arms. What does the picture show? How many long bones are there in the leg? Write their names in your science notebook. Good. The legs are called the hind limbs. Hind limbs. H-I-N-D-limbs. L-I-M-B-S. The hind limbs. Each leg has 3 long bones and several short bones. These bones make up the foot. The major bones of the leg are the femur, the tibia, and the fibula. The major bones of the leg are the femur, that is forming the thigh, the tibia and fibula that are forming the legs. The upper part of a leg has a long bone. It is called femur. F-E-M-U-R. The femur. The lower part of a leg is made up of 2 bones called tibia and fibula. Tibia, T-I-B-I-A. Tibia and fibula. F-I-B-U-L-A. Fibula. Tibia is the larger than fibula one. Now look at page 261. Great. What does the picture show? How many long bones are there in an arm? Write their names in your book. Are we together? Great. The arms are called the forelimbs. Forelimbs. Each arm has 3 long bones and several short ones. These bones form the fingers and the hands. Major bones of the arm are humerus. H-U-M-E-R-U-S. Humerus. Then we also have ulna. U-L-N-A. Ulna. Then we also have radius. R-A-D-I-U-S. The radius. The upper part of an arm has a long bone, and it is called the humerus. The lower part of an arm is made up of 2 bones, the radius and the ulna. Are we together, my friends? Perfect, perfect. Now, my friends, for your homework, I will need you to draw something. You will draw the skull, the bones of the leg, and those of the arms, and label them well in your notebooks. Is that clear? Good. My friends, that will be the end of our lesson for today. Until we meet again in the next radio lesson, goodbye.
Goodbye, 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 teacher. Goodbye, children. See you next time. Goodbye, 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 teacher. Goodbye, children. See you next time.